Hey there. First of all want to say that today I'm going to be talking about reflection and how I use reflection in my own teaching practice in my role as an assistant professor at Governor State University. This is my first time going live. I've watched so many lives on YouTube in the 5 years that I've kind of replaced my TV viewing with live stream viewing. I see that I don't have a background. So that's one thing I'm learning that I need to do is have a better background. But anyway, I'm going to, one of the things I tell my students is that getting started is the most important step. And so here I am. This is, I believe, my 10th video. And I've been on YouTube. My channel is just over a month old. So I'm excited to be here and excited to have this time to talk with you all. I didn't announce that I would be going live because, quite honestly, I didn't know when I would go ahead and strike the first match, but I do plan to go live once a week. I do plan to engage with my followers and subscribers. And I want to thank all of you who are new subscribers. So I told you a little bit about the topic, but what I want to do now is introduce myself. So if you're new to my channel or new to this live stream, my name is Dr. Crystal Harris, and I'm been teaching in higher education for approximately 15 years. I just celebrated my 15th anniversary August the 15th, so not 15 years in 1 month yet even. I love teaching. It's been a wonderful second career for me. I started my career in engineering and in corporate America. I went back to grad school as a 30-something-year-old single parent, which is stories for another day. But I started this YouTube channel because one of the things that myself and my colleagues, who I consider myself close friends with, are concerned about is that there aren't many safe spaces for academics to get together and talk about changes in higher education. And also, what are some of the things that we're doing to sustain ourselves in the midst of the turmoil that higher education is facing? So I don't want to go too much into that because that's not the topic of this video. But if you are a person who is in higher education or have been in higher education and you want to learn more about what's going on as an academic, if you're new to it as an academic professional in higher education and you want to learn what other people are thinking and share your thoughts in the comments, you can also recommend topics for me for this channel. I'm going to be interviewing teachers and administrators and former educators and scholars that I really respect their views on what's going on in higher education. I'm actually going to start that this semester. My goal is to go live once a week and then also have a recorded video every other week. And many of those will be me in conversation, interviewing people who I believe can give us more perspective and more insight on some of the concerns we have about higher education. So I don't know that this is necessarily a place where there'll be lots of solutions, but I think you're going to be able to get solutions about your career. Like, do I want to go into this field? What are the pros and cons of this particular role versus this role? What types of strategies can I use to sustain myself with some of the changes that have been having a negative impact on our longevity in our career, on our mental health in our career? So many people, as you know, are leaving higher education. And basically, what's happening is there are new people who are coming in who don't know that they don't have to fight certain battles. I consider myself a mentor as well in this space of higher education. And so I just want to get into today's topic. It's important for me as an educator with experience to make sure that people who I mentor don't have the same um, pitfalls. They don't have to go through the same pitfalls that I did. So being able to plan and be intentional in my planning is the first place that reflection is important. I ask myself about what are my objectives for the course? What are the processes that I want to use to obtain those objectives for my students? How are the methods that I use to obtain those objectives working? What can I do to improve and make things simpler and easier for students? One of the things that we realized during the pandemic, especially those of us who were teaching online before versus after is that so many students are also overwhelmed and struggling with mental health issues. So I consider it really important to constantly evaluate myself before, during, and after an activity to see if the students are tracking with me. Now, granted, that's a little more difficult to be able to be reflective in the moment. And it requires us to think about not just who our students are, but to be knowledgeable about the students that we serve best and and to be honest with ourselves about the students that we may not do a good job of serving. I'm an extreme extrovert as an example, but I have students that are introverts. They hate sharing out loud in class. And some of them will even tell me after they get to know me better. So I have to continually ask myself, how important is it to create opportunities for students to speak out loud in class? And is that central to my objective? Well, actually, it is in many of my classes. So being self-aware about my relationship with the student, and does the student know me well enough to trust me to push them in that area, to challenge their perception of themselves. So many students don't speak out in class because they don't feel empowered, and it's just terrifying. And so helping them build a relationship with me where the learning space is a safe space, be that the online space or the face-to-face space. So that's another area where reflection and being present and being self-aware is so key in teaching. And the last thing I want to say is that I want to encourage you to kind of create rituals for yourself, to slow down, take a deep breath, and to think about what you're doing before the class, like when you're designing the class for that day. In the middle of the class, create a ritual where the whole class can kind of slow down and have a quiet moment. And then also give yourself space at the end of the day or the end of the week to think about which of the classes that you had went well and which ones you want to improve on and why. We are so busy in higher education now doing any and everything, service, all kinds of attending events, supporting our colleagues, or just taking care of ourselves. It's real easy to get busy and go from appointment to appointment to appointment, even on Zoom all day long, and not take time to breathe and to think and to reflect. So I really want to challenge you with that. And then one of the things that I learned in last week's class is that I want to create an opening ritual in my online classes, both asynchronous and synchronous. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that next week when I go live, how I'm creating community and rituals in the asynchronous online class space. But for this week, I want to leave you with an affirmation. I created a set of affirmation cards, which are available on Gumroad. And I will eventually have the links ready to go in the description boxes, but I don't right now. Right now, the affirmation cards are for about research and teaching, but I'm actually going to separate the two and make a set that are just for people who are educators, and another set for people who are teaching and doing research, primarily focused on the research. But the first one is, I'm grateful for my career as a blank. And so depending on what it is that you're most grateful for, you can fill that in. Or you can just say, I'm grateful for my career, and stopping to think about what is it that you love or like about your teacher and how you're grateful for that, at least at the beginning of the day. I'm a firm believer in affirmations to start my morning routine. I write my own affirmations, and I also have some people that I listen to on Insight Timer with affirmations. And I find that it really puts me in the right mood for the day. I'm grateful for my career as an educator because it allows me to see and be a part of transforming students' lives. I'm so grateful for all of the students who have blessed me by allowing me to be a witness to their growth and development during the years that I've been teaching. And so go out and have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next live. If you like this content, please take a moment to hit like, subscribe to my channel, share this with another educator, and also tell me in the comments what you'd like to see me do on this channel. Take care. Bye-bye.